Yeah, really amazing week, and once again today, great job by the team, and yeah, we managed to defend the jersey, and yeah, we can go happy to home and to prepare to the tour.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Beyond the Podium. I'm Bob Roll. I'll be joined by Christian Vande, and we will review what we've just been commentating on for the last week, the Critérium du Dauphiné. It started out, Christian. We should have known what to expect. Tadej Pogacar, who's never won this, by the way, so a history-making week for Tadej Pogacar, started out stage number 1 with a big win in a sprint against Jonas Vingegaard and Mathieu van der Poel. But Tadej was absolutely supreme throughout the week's race, and that gives us a good indication what to expect in the Tour de France a little bit later in the summer.
Oh, absolutely, Bobby. I mean, Papa Smurf, Rick Rubin, whatever we want to call you, but I agree. I mean, the only hiccup, if we could call it a hiccup even, was the time trial, and that was a little bit where we got excited. Everybody's like, okay, he's human after all. I mean, he got crushed by Remco. He's not ready. But yeah, whatever. Next day, boom, boom, boom. I mean, it was a knockout blow even before the Queen stage. I mean, the difference that he put into everyone else in a shorter climb, and then after the climb was really not that hard to the finish line, that was terrifying to see in the saddle, being able to attack like that, and unexpected, at least on my side. I truly didn't see that coming. I really expected that Jonas, considering how well he did in the time trial, especially in stage 1, that he was going to be a little bit better. But wow, Tadej, like you said, I mean, he's got the hat trick, 3 stages there, and the overall, and deciding I don't want to win my 100th today. I want to save that for the Tour de France. I mean, like you said in the call, the Babino, El Bambino. I mean, Babe Ruth being able to just call it whenever you want. He's a special. This is special to watch, and it's a great precursor. It's always a great precursor to see what's going to happen in the Tour de France, but even more so this year. And yeah, I reluctantly read into some things, and we all do. We need to relax and think that there's still plenty of time for people to catch up a little bit, but I don't know how much that is just positive thinking, at this point in time, to be honest.
There is a time trial in the opening week that Tadej Pogacar might reveal some of his disadvantage against perhaps Remco Evenepoel, and maybe if Jonas Vingegaard, that might be the best chance we have to see what's going to happen the rest of the Tour de France, that big time trial in the opening week of this year's Tour de France, Christian.
Yeah, I mean, but the Tour de France is long and it's dangerous as well. The first 9 days is very dangerous. The 10th day, and let's not forget that we have 10 days of racing in a row, and that almost seems like when he goes from strength to strength, that being Tadej, because of Bastille Day, I believe, right? Yeah, it's on the Monday when we usually have the rest day. So that's heavy, man. And if they're racing like they did this week in the Dauphiné at the Tour de France, which they most likely will, let's be honest. I mean, there's going to be guys who are broken by the time we even get to the mountains. I mean, so I'm excited. I'm excited. We were lucky. We were blessed with the best Dauphiné that I've ever seen. I haven't never seen anything like that before. We're definitely in the golden era right now of cycling, and I think that some of these people in this race will get better. We think about Remco. Remco's a little bit off the mark compared to where he was at the Tour de France, but if you look at last year's Dauphiné to where he was this year, 10 times better. So he's going to be there. I have very good confidence in that. Same thing goes with Jonas. I was impressed with Florian Leibowitz big time in 3rd place overall. That'll be interesting with Red Bull to see how they balance Primoz and Leibowitz going forward. But yeah, it's going to be with that TT. I think that'd be the only time. Maybe if he's a little bit off the mark and he loses 10, 15 seconds. I mean, the tour is long, as we all know. And if you have that kind of dominance in the mountains, that's scary. That's scary to have if you're in the Visma camp.
Well, if you are Jonas Vingegaard and Remco Evenepoel, I mean, I think perhaps Jonas, if he can look at it rationally and pragmatically, he had a concussion in Paris-Nice. It's his first chance to get back to racing. He probably might make more improvement than Tadej could make in this little time period between now and the Tour de France. So maybe he has a little bit more momentum and perhaps a little bit more hope than Tadej. Like you always say, hope is not a tactic. But if you look at it, take a couple steps back, look at it from above, I think Jonas is going to be a very tough customer in the Tour de France, in my estimation.
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly, and I truly believe it. I'm not just saying that playing devil's advocate or anything like that. I think that Tadej, that was pretty much his maximum right now. He even said in an interview that he's seen the best of my career. I'm at peak form here. And so I don't think he's going to get too much better. I mean, there's always that opportunity that he does get better, or more importantly, he doesn't get worse. And then I do believe, like you just mentioned, that Jonas will get a little bit better because of the lack of competition. And most important, just because of that day-to-day drubbing that you get where you can't be at your best in the last climb when it truly matters. So I think those guys who have a little bit behind as far as competition goes, Remco, Jonas, those guys will at least shrink the gap in between Tadej and the rest. But how much are they going to shrink it? That's the biggest question. And again, we all try to calm down. We have the same conversation for the last 50 years about what Dauphiné and what the Tour de France is. And so many times the guys who do good at Dauphiné, they're nowhere to be seen. They're in the Gruppetto in the third week of the Tour de France.
Yes. Yeah, that is a good point. And also, I would like to ask you about yesterday's stage. 3 beyond category climbs, the first massive day for a lot of riders in the whole season. How did that? I think that Tadej was maybe not as sharp as he was the day before, maybe paying a little bit for the efforts on Friday. But yesterday, and Remco reminding us that, hey, above 6,000 feet all day long with those 3 massive climbs, give me a break. I was off the bike for 3 months when I needed to be training hard. So Remco also probably is looking forward to making some big improvements between now and the Tour de France.
Absolutely. I mean, those long climbs are a different animal, and the heat. Let's not forget about the heat. This entire week has been high. So this truly was really a good test for the Tour de France. Exactly the same kind of conditions. And like you mentioned, with 3 above category climbs, 16,000 feet of climbing in 80 miles, it's ridiculous. In 4 hours. So you think about that, 4,000 feet of climbing per hour, every hour, all the way on the 7th stage. So yeah, I mean, that's where he did shrink the gap. But with Tadej, he didn't have to go deep. We saw him pretty much noodling it for the last kilometer to the finish line. And the difference between the two and what they look like coming across the line, that said a lot. So, again, it's always good to be ahead than behind. And he has the luxury, Tadej, that is to really feather it into the Tour de France, whereas the others still need to go back to the drawing board a little bit, do some hard work. I mean, I don't think there's any such thing as really losing weight. Those guys look very sharp already on the bike, but you still have to do the work. And that's scarier than actually feathering it. Because when you feather it, then you're actually taking time back and you freshen up, where these guys need to go hard and train hard. And that's hard psychologically and physically as well. So again, I agree with you wholeheartely. I think that Tadej is more or less at his peak, 99th percentile. And let's say that these guys are a couple percentage points back. And I think that gap will shrink. But let's not forget, 10 days into that's going to be the hardest first stage in the Massif Central after 9 days of really hard racing and very stressful racing. That's a long time from now, my friend. That's actually a month from today. That's the first hard day. A month. That's a long time. And then let's not even talk about the third week. That comes way later. So long time to go. All of us pundits, that's why I just try to relax, take a breath. Tour de France is long. Anything you go. I mean, let's just, first of all, I'm excited. I would say the biggest reason I'm excited is that everyone seems to be as healthy as they can be right now. Yeah. And so that's all we could ask for. And that's what we've been saying since January. That we're going to be happy if we have the best of the best, healthy and ready to go at the best of their true potential. Maybe not their true potential, just because we talked about in the show how many of the injuries we've had in the past with Remco. You just mentioned 3 months off the bike with his shoulder injury, and of course the concussion with Jonas. So they definitely need more time to really be at their 100% best, what their true performance could be. But I think this is going to be one of the better Tour de France that we've ever seen. And just we'll see what happens out on the road. And Mathieu van der Poel, I mean, didn't even talk about him, what he was riding like this week. I've never seen him do those kind of in the 8-day stage race and really being aggressive and just having fun on his bike, seemingly. I mean, so I think he's going to be sharp, and if you're going to go with the bookies, I'm putting him down for a yellow jersey at some point in time in that first week of racing.
Let's talk team UAE today. A lot better than they looked yesterday, and a lot better they looked throughout the entire Critérium du Dauphiné. But if we were looking at the team after yesterday's stage, we would be thinking, wow, they need to improve a lot if they're going to realistically be there for Tadej Pogacar when he needs them.
Yeah, but at the same time, Matteo, Sepp, everyone put the kitchen sink at him at that point in time. So there wasn't many people left, but Visma definitely had the right team and the right thoughts. But what are you going to do at the end? It's a still above category climb, and Tadej attacks with 12K to go. But no, I would say the team is going to be stronger at Tour de France. They're going to have some reinforcements, 2 climbers. So I think they're going to be better in the mountains than what we saw yesterday. Sivakov still did a fantastic job. I have to take my hat off to him still. But yes, Visma definitely had the dominant team. That showed in the rankings. What was it? Almost 40 minutes in the team classification they won by over second place. So they obviously had the dominant team. And again, that's one thing. Like, I love the discussion. I love having people by your side in the long mountains in case anything should go wrong. But it neglects the fact that who's going to be the one who's going to finish off the job. And as of today, that is still UAE and Tadej, and they're so deep. They're truly a deep squad.
Well, I liked what I saw from Sepp Kuss today. I was a little bit worried that the Eagle of Andorra would not perhaps even be included in the Tour team for Visma. He's had a tough go of it since he won the Vuelta a couple of years ago now, but Sepp looked to be absolutely flying in the mountains where they need him. And Matteo, maybe not at his best, but maybe also taking it easy before the Tour de France. And of course, Magnus Sheffield, we didn't get a chance to see him very often during the mountainous Criterium du Dauphiné, but I did like what I saw from Sepp and Matteo especially. Yeah,
Matteo fought back as well today. I think both those guys definitely struggled yesterday. Well, Sepp was fantastic yesterday. He was in the breakaway and then pulling on the front. And I think Matteo is rare for him. You almost never see him have a day without, and that definitely was yesterday for Matteo. Yeah. But he fought back today, and he looked fantastic, obviously, even moving up a bit. So the team's great. The Americans are great. I'm really looking forward to see what, Nielsen Paulus just won a race yesterday as well. Right. So the Americans are looking very sharp coming into this tour. And honestly, you need to be. There's no such thing as getting into shape during the tour anymore. You have to be ready to go on day one because it's going to be a battle and you have to be surrounded by the best. And so I do understand the conversation with the teammates and having a great team around you. There's no doubt about that. But sometimes I don't even know if Tadej needs a team. I mean, of course, we have everyone at the front, but what he could do by himself is so incredible. But yes, I like what I saw with Sepp. I think Sepp is definitely coming back. And we heard some great remarks and thoughts about him coming into this race from training camp. And that has definitely proven to be true. And Sepp's another one. I think he'll take a step up in the right direction coming into the mountains. And he's one of those guys, he doesn't care. The first 10 days, you're probably not going to see him. If he loses 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, whatever, you're just going to sit at the back, and he'll be ready when he needs to be ready, when the team truly needs him in the big mountains. Don't worry about Sepp. He's taking still a vacation the first 8 days of the Tour de France.
Well, that's a good new T-shirt for Sepp Kuss. Sepp doesn't care. Always ready in the mountains. Speaking about being ready in the mountains, Lenny Martinez. Now, we've been following him for a couple of years. And if we recall, on that breakaway with Sepp Kuss in the Vuelta, they had a huge advantage over all the other GC contenders. And it was Lenny Martinez that went into the leader's jersey. I think he was 19 years of age in that edition of the Vuelta. Now he'll be doing the Tour de France. And he had a great stage win after a tough day yesterday. I'm not a gambling man, but I would bet on Lenny Martinez winning a mountain stage in this year's Tour de France.
Yeah, and especially with mental fortitude and really the pep talk from the staff on his team after really getting his butt kicked yesterday, finishing more or less in the gruppetto, and like you said, getting dropped on the Madeleine. And if you're a pure climber, that's your meat and potatoes. You're loving this. You're starting to straight up above category climb, and that's hard to take. And also you're thinking, well, what is going on? Well, how am I not being able to go with guys that I know I could crush? So that's not easy to come and then come back and win. Whew. Yeah. That's off to Lenny Martinez. I mean, that's a very big learning day for Lenny to be able to realize that you truly always still have it in you, and you always have to fight no matter what happened the day before. So yeah, I like Lenny Martinez. And didn't he go to the Tour de France early in his career? Like I think that same year and just get his butt kicked, and that was a horrible decision. And
yeah, that's right.
And I remember you mentioning like that was a bad decision. You were 100% against it. And I still am not against it to this day because, 18, 19-year-old going to the Tour de France when you're not ready, it's all about how much confidence you have. And this today will give him so much confidence that he can go against the absolute best, even if he has a bad day before. And when you go undercooked to the Tour de France, that takes all that confidence away from you. So he's got that in spades. He's rolling right now. Love Lenny Martinez.
And if he was on Groupama, does he come back?
Yeah, no kidding. That's a great point. I saw you smiling when I said that, and I knew you were going to go to the Groupama. But no, it's good to be away from the French team sometimes.
Yeah. Yes, we've seen historically what happens to riders when they're locked in a program and they get this sort of lifetime relationship, especially for the French riders. And it seems like they don't necessarily flourish in long term anyways. And we've seen that on a lot of French riders, and Romain Bardet included. He had to change teams to a Dutch team and seemed to reignite his career after many years on the decathlon squad. So hats off to Lenny Martinez. I think he has a bright future. And when he was, not forced, but required to do the Tour de France from Groupama, I think that was, okay, you want me to do the Tour? That's not, I will see you later. I'm joining a different team from a different country entirely at the end of the season. And I think we'll see him at his best for Bahrain in the Tour de France.
Yeah, I would say the biggest difference or biggest hurdle for a rider like Lenny Martinez, he's so small, man, that the difference between Tour de France and the Giro and the Vuelta is the drubbing that you take before you get to the mountains. If you could stay in the pocket, like I was mentioned with Sepp Kuss, don't worry about these guys. Just sit at the back, just get through these days, try to go through the days unscathed, and then fight when you truly have an opportunity to go for the win in the mountains. Then you could do it. But it is so hard, especially for the general classification. If you want to fight with the big boys every day on those flatter stages, and you're a guy who only weighs 120 pounds, like maybe he doesn't even weigh that, Bob. He's tiny. And so that is the biggest hindrance. So it's how he approaches the Tour de France to give himself the opportunities in the second and third week when it truly matters to him and he can make the difference. But I have to say, when you said the Eagle of Andorra, are you the vulture of Oakland?
The Rango. You're on a murder spree. Papa Smurf in the house, the vulture of Durango. You're killing me. You're cut off, Christian. I thought we were friends. Anyways, one last question about Jonas. Crashing out of the Basque Country last year, didn't race until the Tour de France. A very different scenario, at least this week. It started to be similar to last year's with a concussion in Paris this season. But compared to last year, Jonas has got to be in a better place with some room for improvement, far better than he was going into last year's Tour de France when he hadn't raced since early March last year.
Absolutely. And so that makes for two. We already talked about Remco Evenepoel. I think that he's 10 times better than he was last year. You think about the competition first and foremost, and the Dauphiné last year was nowhere near what we saw this year. And of course, the result as well. So Remco did a great race here today. I mean, he was actually attacking up and over that last category one. And that's his favorite terrain as well, back on the flats. So I think both those guys, Jonas and Remco, are at a better level, and they're going to be closer, make it a better race. Again, I hate to keep on reminding everyone, but I still think that Tadej has improved from last year as well. So if you're not improving, you're going backwards at all times. But yes, I agree with you, man. I really do think that both those riders are in better shape as it stands here today going into the Tour than they were last year.
Well, I am absolutely thrilled. I couldn't be happier with the way the Dauphiné turned out. Looking forward to the Tour de France, especially. Christian, thank you once again. And everybody, join us in a week's time for another Beyond the Podium. I'm Bob Roll signing off. Christian, this spirit is going to be massive by the time we get to the Tour de France. Get ready for it.
You're so full of it. You say that every year. I know you're going to be terrified, and the day before you're going to take it all down. You don't want to have this appearance. You want to scare anyone in little, but
you're
come on,
totally cut off. Those are my secrets, Christian.
Keep it.
No way.
I mean, you could trim up the Einstein stuff going up here, but just keep the beard, man.
Okay, Christian. I will see you soon. Thanks everybody for joining us.
Happy Father's Day, Bobby. Happy Father's Day.
Happy
Bobby.
Father's Day. Yes.
For all your cycling content year-round, subscribe to NBC Sports YouTube page. We got it all.